Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Well, this is such a treat, Natasha Adair, to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Debbie, thank you as always for having me.
Well, listen, you and I go way back. So I want to say way back. It's not way in the way back machine, but it's not too far. But you were an assistant at Wake Forest, and I was watching you, and I knew that you had that special quality. What was it, do you think, that allowed you to be able to have the kind of success that you're having now through your journey?
Well, I think it's just the different places that I've been, the people that has poured into me, and the people that I've been able to learn from. It goes back to even my college coach, Trudy Lacey, a name that you're very familiar with. Go Wolfpack, right?
Right, that's right. Trudy was a great player at NC State.
Oh my goodness. And just having her not only as a coach, but as a mentor, as an example, especially in a time where there weren't many coaches, Division I head coaches of influence, honestly, Debbie, that looked like me. And she poured into us in so many different areas, aside from just being a basketball player. She talked a lot about life and talked about our influence, but also our input. And how do we take every moment that we have and be better, but also give. But just learning from Trudy, and then going into just college coaching under Pat Knapp, who was at Georgetown. I'm from DC. I get this amazing opportunity, and he had been a coach that recruited me, but also just to be able to learn just more about the business than in addition to the game, but just how to be a good manager of people. The ins and outs of coaching. I mean, that was back in the day where you had to be the third assistant, you had to be the dobo, you had to be the video coordinator. It was restricted earnings. I mean, we didn't have any of what we have now. And so you had to multitask, you had to juggle. There was no excuse. It was get it done. I mean, there was no synergy. It was film exchange, drive on the turnpike, and hand a VHS tape to the opponent. So think about all of those things that we had to do. But it taught us grit. It taught us character. You had to be 3 plays ahead, 3 steps ahead. So the adversity that we experienced then, now, I'm like, there's nothing that can rattle me. So you take being a player, but then also growing up in a time and learning the game inside out. It just helps prepare me for these moments now. And I move on from Georgetown after being there 6 years, and being fortunate to coach, some great players. Rebecca Brunson as one, just all-time great. But people don't realize, I coach Katie Smirka Duffy too. People know the name AZ Fudd, but I coached her mom. So and that was when the Big East was the Big East, and it was competitive as the day is long. And so to be able to coach in that environment, prepare scouts for those players, all pretty much WNBA players and Hall of Famers. You just learn and you soak it up. I'm a sponge to just the game and the knowledge of the game. And then I get a call from Mike Peterson, who you and I both know and love. And I think he's one of the brightest minds in the game. And to be with him for 8 years, I mean, he opened the game up in a way that hadn't been, I hadn't been exposed to. And if he was a football coach, he would be an offensive coordinator, because he gets the game on a whole nother level. And I attribute a lot of what I do now to what I learned then with him. I'm so thankful to have been under coaches that poured into me, but also allowed me to grow. I wasn't just a recruiter to them. I was a coach. I could go to them and ask questions, ask why, give me offense, give me the defense, give me whatever I needed to one day sit in this seat. And so I'm very thankful for the people that I've had pour into me, lead me. And then Debbie, you came to a lot of our shoot arounds, and you came, you saw us in action. And when we talked, I think we were at NC State, I think that was the game. And we just talked about kind of opportunities that were there for me. And you've just been an advocate. You've been a friend. You've been a mentor, an example. So many things in my career that I've been able to just really experience because of so many great people, and you are on that list. So thank you.
Well, you reference Peterson, which is a reference to Mike Peterson, with your time at Wake Forest. And that conversation was this: inside the 20-minute countdown clock at Wake Forest playing at NC State, I was calling the game, and I walked over and I called you down to the end of the bench, like, hey, Natasha, come here, come here. I mean, you were game prep in the middle, and I was getting ready to go on the air, and I was like, hey, what do you think about the College of Charleston job? Yeah. And you were like, I think I'm interested in that. I said, okay, we'll talk after the game. And that was it. Because I'm like, I don't want to talk to you about it, distract you or me from what we had to do. But you mentioned kind of a dive back into the way we used to do things. You know, VHS is stacked up and you're changing every 2 hours, changing a VHS tape. I did that stuff too. That's back when you could live scout opponents. So you were always on the road. Yes. If we dug deep into your archives, what was something from way back in the day that you still have, that you carry with you, or you have in a file, or you have in a closet somewhere? What would one of those things be in your archives?
I have everything. They call me a hoarder of knowledge, but I have a notebook. It's a notebook from when I first became, a coach, when I started at Georgetown. And it was just information that was passed on to me on just how to break down scouts and what to look for and in the game situations and time and score. And I was actually going through something in my office not too long ago, but I also had a book from the BCA, and this was back when Cheney, Vivian, and Big John were leading it. Yeah. And it talked just about, think about that. Like, I would like to read that. I'd like to see that. Okay.
At some point, let me borrow. I know you probably have it, in a special locked up case or some sort of.
It is open all the time. But there's so many, there's so much information that we shared that I don't know if we share as much. Back in the day, we talked shop, and you talk shop anywhere. You wrote on napkins, you shared all kinds of information. And I know we do it, I'm part of the Women of Color. And we do that a lot, and we spend a lot of time pouring into each other and making sure that we're better. I'm also part of the BCU and obviously, what we do within the WBCA, but it was just something about those conversations, whether you're on the road recruiting, whether you're in the gym and you're going over to Vivian and you're going over, to Kay, who God rest her soul, who they always wanted to share. They always wanted to make sure whatever it is you wanted to know, you saw a play or you needed some advice, they were always there. And I think about that now whenever I meet someone. Hey, I don't know what I can offer you. I've been in it a little longer. If you're taking over a program, or I've done it 3 times, take my number down. Because there are things that you're going to go through, that you're going to experience, that I can just give you advice. So just always trying to pay it forward. But there's a lot of notebooks of information from every step of the way.
I have some of Billy Moore's notebooks that I cherish keeping, and I promised her that I would preserve them for her. And she's such a legend in our game. It's interesting to go back and look at the detail that she saw the game and how she was able to pass that on. You mentioned sharing, and you mentioned the Women of Color. What was your reaction? Because I'm sure you did get a piece of the net from Dawn Staley as she passed out a piece of the net to all the Women of Color that are head coaches in our game.
I did. Dawn she is aside from being, as you know, one of the greats, for her to be so selfless and wanting to lift all of us up, You know, Carolyn Peck obviously passed it on to her. And Dawn said, you know what, I'm gonna take it a step further. And that's Dawn. I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna be gracious, you know, to what's been given to me. I'm going to acknowledge it because of my work, but I'm also going to lean into others, reach down and pull others up. She takes the light off herself. You know her, you know, she doesn't boast. She just takes care of business. And for me to receive that, and I'm sure for every other coach to receive it, one, it lets me know, wow, you see me, I matter, you know, but it also says, I can do this. We can do this, and we can do this together. So, you know, a heartfelt thank you to her yet again. She's special in so many ways. And I think just her being so selfless, so humble, so human, right? Human, that she just inspires you in so many other ways than what the obvious people would think just as a basketball coach. For me, it's a person. You know, she's more than an icon. She's literally a living example of what true hard work and dedication can get you.
100%. There's no question about it. I mean, I always reference being at South Carolina in her first year when there was one concession stand and there was no parking issues. And, you know, now it's so amazing when you go there. It's such a great demographic. The crowd is full of all kinds of people, young, old, black, white. I mean, students. It's just really, really a great microcosm of where our game is right now. It has everybody there. It's fun to be there. So let me ask you this. Because sharing and the ability to give, I know are important things to you. When I say to you, giving is a skill, what do you say to that?
I think giving is a responsibility. I think giving is a responsibility. I do think you have to be, I think it's a skill because you have to learn, you have to be very intentional. But for me, it's a responsibility. Because I know that I don't sit here as a head coach, you know, at the University of Delaware without me being a giver, me being a servant. It comes back to you twofold. And I've always been raised that way. You know, I don't sit here because I did something, not solely. You know, it was people around me. It was a servant's heart. You know, there's so many formulas to being here and heading into my 25th year of college coaching. You know, there's tenure because I know that I can keep growing. There's tenure because I say please and thank you. There's tenure because I know that there have been other people that have helped me along the way. So as much as I can give, I'm going to give. As much as I can lean into others, I'm going to lean in. And so I think it's a skill, yes, but I also think it's a responsibility.
I think that's the right attitude. And I try to be that way as well. So this leads me to an experience I had recently. You know, I'm always trying to, anytime a student calls me or somebody asks me to spend some time, I always find it. Yes. And so I was with a group of young students, 15 young women that want to be aspiring journalists. Oh, wow. And I spent some time with them and I went over a short introduction, and then I really wanted them to ask as many questions as they wanted. And the first question that came from this group of young women was, how do you deal with burnout? And I looked at the young woman, I was like, burnout? I am not burned out. I never have been, never tired. I don't make any excuses. I'm not complaining. Right. And I thought, why did she ask that? Correct. You know, it was interesting. I think it's the mindset of where these kids are today. What's your, you know, because I love what I do and I know you love what you do, but not everybody loves it, even though they're doing it. Right. Right. So when somebody brings out the word burnout, I kind of go, what do you, I don't understand what you're asking me. I love that I'm up at up till 1 and up at 5 and I'm watching film and I'm doing all that. I don't think that you, I don't think you burn out. What do you say to that?
Well, then I say, what's your why? You know, you got to find out your why. You're a competitor. I'm a competitor. Competitors don't burn out. Competitors adjust. It's their scouting report, right? It's you always got to be 3 plays ahead. Did you plan? You know, if you're burning out, then you're not planning well. So where's your focus? Where are you spending your time? What are your disciplines? There's so many other things. You know, and there's balance, and you learn that over time, for sure. But I also think there's alignment. You know, there's so many boxes you have to check off. But burning out, it's not even an option.
Yeah, I thought it was odd. Thought it was very odd that would be something a young 21-year-old woman would ask me.
Mhm.
That is not even, doesn't even have a job yet, that wants to get into the business. Let's talk a little bit about business. Let's talk the business of your team. I want to ask you a couple of things here about,
Mhm.
you know, every year you seem to take another step forward and make more progress with the effort of your group.
Mhm.
What has it been like this year with your team? And then tell us a little bit about Jasmine Dickey, who is really an excellent basketball player that has gotten some recognition on the national scene.
Well, again, you know, year to year, I can't say I do it alone, right? I have such a good staff that's been with me, you know, that knows me. Uh, but the thing about our team is who we are. We talk about, you know, who are we as people, who are we as basketball players, and we really enforce that. You know, what is our team identity? You know, who, when people see us, when they're preparing for us, what are they preparing for? And we want to make sure we're that team, this year for sure, because the culture's built. We're going to play hard. You know, when you play Delaware, you're going to play hard. You know that we're going to defend. You know that we're going to rebound. You know that we're going to run. Okay. But for us this year to take that next step is, how efficient are we? You know, are we making the right decisions? Are we looking for the right options? And so we really spent a lot of time in the off season about good for great, right? This is good, but okay, could we have gotten better? And really breaking down the game analytically, and really trying to just take that next step to be elite. You know, we don't, it's not an arrogance to say that we're good, but we want to be elite, and we want to be in a different group come March. And we want to do that day in and day out. And so I love the buy-in of our team, because you know it's there when you can sit back as a coach and they're saying the same thing. This is a team now that is player-led, coach supported. You know, we have veterans, we have players that have been with me, been with us since day one. And so they know they can look at the game, and if it gets sloppy, they, even in the timeout, before I get to them, Debbie, they're like, okay, you guys, we got to do it on defense. You know, we got to get 6 defensive stops in a row. We're taking shots too early. So really honing in. And so I love where we are. We have obviously veterans, but we have some new pieces that's starting to gel right now. Our non-conference schedule, I would say, is probably one of the most competitive schedules since I've been here at Delaware. And that was intentional as well, because we're building this thing for conference play in March. And so I know we're going to talk about Jasmine, as we should, but there's so many other players on our team that we have depth, we have leadership, we have experience, and we have a relentless just pursuit to win. And I'm very proud of our group.
Well, talk about Jasmine a little bit in the era of the transfer portal. You know, she didn't get plucked away, and she stayed, and your team is better because of it.
Absolutely. You know, the transfer portal now, I mean, everyone's saving 2 scholarships, Debbie, to recruit from the portal. Because they're looking at, well, you know what, I can get an experienced player, I can get a high level player, and they can come in and make a difference right away. But the first thing I want to say about Jasmine is she's loyal. You know, she's loyal. She is, as much as she is a great basketball player, she's a phenomenal person. You know, she cares more about this team and about her teammates than herself. She's the player that has not lost a sprint since she stepped on campus. And she came in to help change the culture. The culture wasn't broken, but for the way that we wanted to play, we wanted to be very competitive and relentless. And watching her play in high school, I said, that's it right there. She's going to come in and she's going to help build something very special here that hasn't been done here in a very long time. And year to year to year, 7 points per game her freshman year, 12 points per game her sophomore year, 23 points per game player of the year her junior year. And now she's at 27.9 points per game. And that's because of the hours before, the hours after that Jasmine is in the gym. She's blue collar, but I call it the Dickey Effect. To know Jasmine and to know her family, each and every one of them are that way. She doesn't want a handout. She's never going to make an excuse. She puts the team on her back. And it's just to watch her every day. Sometimes you're just in awe because, just when you don't think she can give you any more, she gives you so much more. And now, if you don't work hard in our program, you stand out. And that's because, again, from day one, she's helped set that standard.
I love that. I love that she's loyal and that she works and she gets in the gym. And we need more players to continue to do that. That's what's going to be so special about our game moving forward is, I'm always on the offensive kick because I think that's where our game needs to be for people to be interested in our game. We have to be able to score. It's all about offense. Now, I see the game through an offensive lens. And so therefore, that's the way I speak the game. And it's the way I prepare for the game. And, and I want to ask you one final thing, and that is, I know, Natasha, where your heart is, and I know how hard you work. And I know you are a grinder, a tape eater, and you're someone that loves to build relationships. You've had some experience at a really high level in college, but also your USA basketball experience, because I think that's I don't want to say that validates existence in the game, but it certainly gives you another measure of confidence, not just as a player, but as a coach. How would you rate where your USA basketball experience has helped the overall development of your program?
Are you kidding me? I mean, first of all, to get the call, from Callan, right? To get the call and I'm staring at my phone like, really? And then to fly out there and just pull up to just the USA basketball campus complex and to just be in awe, knowing the history, knowing the people, I mean, even on the campus, you're watching people training all sports, all walks of life, and to be amongst the just greatness, and to be alongside, I was so blessed to be able to work with Jeff Walls. I mean, another brain, another phenomenal coach in this business, and Corey Close, who I just love. I just absolutely love. And people don't know, we were all assistants together in the ACC. Corey at Florida State, and Jeff was at Maryland at the time, and I'm at Wake. And just to see the trajectory of just where they are in their programs, and to be in those car rides, to be in the war room with them, to just pull, from both of them on best practices and things that, I can take back. There's, some of my zone offenses, thank you, Jeff, and just situations that I felt like I came back from USA basketball so much better, and more prepared and armored with other things. I want to learn from people who are where I want to go. That's one thing in coaching. There's so many coaches in coaching cliques of people that are all the same. And not that you can't learn from them, but are you learning from people where you want to go? If that's the advice I have to give young coaches, don't spend time with your friends. Don't spend time, when we're at these tournaments or when we're out recruiting, just socializing. Go and find the coaches that are winning and ask them questions. Ask them how. Trust me, every coach in the country wants to share. Every coach in the country will make time to talk to you to help make your program, make you better. And so I think that I have been so blessed to be able to have those friendships, have those opportunities. And I didn't miss. I asked the questions. You know, Jeff is great in end of game situations. His out of bounds plays are phenomenal. He thinks outside the box. And so to be able to spend, you know, 2 years, 3 years with him with USA basketball, and me to be able to walk away with a lot of that stuff, that's I mean, we've won games on some of those end of game situations that I got from him. And the way that Corey Close structures her day, she's the most organized person that I know. Her practice plans are this thick. You know, you've seen her.
Yeah.
So there's no detail that she leaves out. The way that they run their programs, Corey sends everything. She shares everything. And so to be able to have those reference points to go to, USA Basketball has elevated me as a coach. It's humbled me as a coach. I mean, I have 2 gold medals. You know, not everyone can say that. And to be able to coach some of the best players in the country, I take so much joy when I'm watching them at their respective universities and saying, wow, you know, Nas did that, Ryan did that, Caitlin did that, you know, Haley did, I can go down the list, Sedona, Aaliyah, and to know that, you know, I had that moment and I was able to really grow from that as a coach. And even a fun story, and I don't know if Paige Beckers wants me to share this, but she was so sweet. My daughter who plays volleyball, but follows basketball because she grew up in it, absolutely loves Paige Beckers. Just, you know, they're all around the same age. And she's like, Mommy, she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT. She's all over TikTok. Well, my daughter turned 16 and I asked Paige if she would just share a video message wishing her happy birthday. And that relationship came because of USA Basketball. And you know what she said? Coach, absolutely. She didn't have to say yes. She didn't have to take time out of her day. And so those are the moments that I will always treasure.
You're special, Natasha, and Delaware is fortunate to have you. And you know, I tell Chrissy every time I see her how lucky she is. So I will continue to do that so that you continue to pick up the check everywhere we go and buy the next round. But no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, you're wonderful. I'm so proud of everything you've done. Your path and your journey is leaving a great trail behind for others to follow. And we're lucky to have you in the game. And we need you to keep doing well and keep on keeping on and bringing your energy every day. And thank you so much for joining us on Nothing But Net.
Debbie, thank you. And I thank you in so many other ways and just having me on. Just thank you for being a great mentor, leader, and just an example, not only for me, but for everyone in our game.
Jasmine Dickey, you know how much I love offense. So I'm so excited to have a player that can score 27 points a game on my podcast. What's it been like this season with your team?
It's been good. You know, we just continue to work hard every day. We have a new challenge every day, every team we play, and just making sure that we're locking in on the little things, locking in on who we're guarding and, you know, their sets, and then also focusing on us as far as, you know, how to play good defense and executing our plays and just making sure that we're all on the same string. So it's been a lot of fun, and, you know, we got a lot more games to go.
You had a game already this season where you scored 48 points. So take me inside the mindset of that. Like, you're in the second half. Do you have any idea where you are? Is that something that you're even thinking about? I mean, you can look up on the scoreboard and you can see that number continuing to go up. What's that like?
I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, of course, it wasn't like anticipated to score that much, but, you know, my teammates and I, we worked together throughout the whole game, and it was a tough game. And just continue to just work. They trusted me with the ball. I trusted them with the ball. And we pretty much gave everything that we gave what we were given. We went to what we were given. And so, you know, just recognizing, you know, whether it's a mismatch or whether we should shoot the ball with the right shot or attacking the basket, you know, getting everybody involved and, you know, just playing hard to the very end for 40.
So just a little bit of background on you. You averaged 7 points your freshman year, and now you're in your senior year and you're averaging 27. What has the player development and skill off-season work been like for you? And give us a sample or an example of how much time you've put in the gym to become a really, really good player.
Yeah. The summertime it's like somewhere where I really like take my time and I'm in the gym every day. But yeah, just expanding my game, working on that mid-range still, and then working my way back out to the three. And then also improving percentage wise, that was a main focus coming out of junior year and going into senior year. And just making sure that every game and every practice, I'm practicing the right shots, I'm taking the right shots, and making sure that everybody else is involved. But countless hours in the gym, countless hours, and you still got to stay in the gym even now. So yeah, just really a bunch of hard work in the gym, like every day, all day.
When we talk to Coach Adair about you, she brings up two things. She calls it the Dickie Effect. Tell us what the Dickie Effect is.
I really think, well, in my opinion, I feel like it's based off, energy and, leadership. I try to bring my teammates with me just as they try to bring me with them. And, it creates a better connection on the court, off the court. And, it gets everybody excited and a lot of energy to play. So yeah, I guess that's what I would call it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. There's some really great players in our game that can score. And there's other players that can score and add value in other ways. When scoring is not happening, maybe there's a different matchup on the floor, or you're not having the same shooting night or efficient night that you've had. What are some of the other things that you do? I know what you do skill-wise. I mean, mentally, to get yourself out of that place where I'm not hitting shots. I don't want to go in a slump. What else can I do? How do you get yourself to be able to do the other things inside the game?
Yeah, well, I've been told my whole life to, next play mentality. Even before Coach A drills it in our heads, but even before Coach A, next play mentality. If you miss a shot, it's okay. Get it back in other ways as far as defense. Coach puts a big emphasis on defense. So working really hard on defense, trying not get beat or backdoored or anything like that is just something that I can contribute to the team. Getting on the loose balls, rebounding. And so there's a lot other things in the game to do other than scoring. And, if I am having an off night, I can rely on my teammates to, get everybody going. And, I can try to do the little dirty things and stuff like that, just to make sure I'm contributing to the team in other ways.
Yeah. Jasmine, I've always known you to have such a great attitude that, you relish the opportunity to lead. You're not ducking from it. So what are some of the things that, as the leader of this team this year, that you're trying to make sure everybody's connected on doing the same things, on the same page?
Just staying together all around. We face these very tough teams, and adversity may hit, and just staying together as a team. Always talking to my team, keeping the energy up, and they're always talking to me just in case they may see me down in a segment or whatever. But just really just staying together throughout the whole thing. It starts in practice. We work hard and we compete hard against each other in practice, which makes it a little easier in the game because we're used to that type of energy and that type of physicality. But yeah, just drilling into everybody's head and even my own head, just to continue to just stay together, work hard. And then Coach A has this formula that we follow. So it's defend, rebound, run, and then score. And so, following that formula, and then, overall, we just all got to work hard, work together.
Yeah. One of the things that I found really interesting in this era of the transfer portal is that a player like yourself with the kind of skill set you have could have gone somewhere to maybe a Power 5 or gone to a bigger place with maybe more visibility or more fans or, better travel or whatever it might be. Yet coach calls you loyal. Why did you stick with the plan?
Well, Coach A has been loyal to me from the jump. All the coaches have, going down to Coach A, CC, KK, Jenkins, and Mose, honestly. The whole staff has been loyal to me from day one. And it's such a family-oriented place to be. I probably wouldn't choose another school other than Delaware. And, sometimes the underdogs is the place to be at, so you can make on anywhere. And, it's a great atmosphere, and I love the team. I love the coaching staff. So yeah, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jazz. I mean, right away, you can sense not just your loyalty, but your love and passion for playing, how much you love your teammates, how much you love being at Delaware. There's nothing wrong with staying at Delaware and having great success with this group of people. I mean, this is your group for the rest of your life. These are your teammates forever. sometimes we don't have the maturity to see that or think that way, but you seem to. Why?
I guess it's just how I grew up. You know, my dad is always like, you know, it doesn't matter where you go to school. You know, it's how much work you put in. You know, and you can make your name known anywhere. And you can bring people along with you. So that's just something that just stuck with me for then till now. You feel me? And just continue to just build that brand.
When your playing days are over, whenever that may be, you are going to be a great employee because you're a great teammate. Somebody's going to give you a big fat job because of your attitude. Do you feel that way? Do you have that kind of confidence about yourself?
Yeah. I feel that way. You know, I'm a pretty open person. You know, I just want everybody to do good together.
Do good together. I like it. How have you seen Coach A change as during your time? She's had this USA basketball experience, and she's been able to bring some other things to your workouts and your practice and game planning. Have you seen a change in her?
Oh, Coach has been, you know, the same coach, you know, from a jump, but I love when she adds different things to, you know, practice plans or, you know, game plans or something like that, because it makes everybody better in the long run. And then, you know, she sees something that we usually don't see, or we might see something that she might not see. And that we all work together in that sense also. So, you know, but Coach A has definitely been, you know, the same Coach A from freshman year. And that's exactly why I'm here at Delaware. You know, that loyalty on that side has never changed. And, you know, she's a genuine person all around.
So I know you've got sweat equity. I'm sure you're in the gym all the time. I want to know from an analytical standpoint, how much do you study the game? Do you watch the WNBA? Do you watch film on your opponent more than just the clips that you do as a team? Like, what are some of the things on the mental side that you're doing to get ready?
You know, what's funny, actually, I grew up watching basketball, but like I wasn't like always into the TV and nothing like that. So I really did get into it coming into college, watching WNBA, watching college basketball, watching the NBA. And just really like, I look at, you know, what certain players do. I study film on myself. I study film on the other teams. I watch film over and over again. And just like seeing things that I can do better, seeing something that the team can do better. You know, if I got backdoored on one play, okay, how can I fix that so where I don't get backdoored in the next play or in the next game? The jump shots that are being taken, or the layups, or even the shot selection in general, like what could I have done better in the game to help my team out? And then just as a unit, like what we could have done better if we did lose a game, like what we could have done better. Or if we won a game, you know, what things can we take from that game for the next game? You know, just trying to better my IQ also in that whole thing. And then trying to get everybody better. So.
Okay, so what do you like to do when you're not around basketball?
I draw. I also do hair. Yeah, I'm pretty creative in that sense.
Yeah. What are you gonna do when you're done playing basketball?
Well, I'm majoring in sports health. I have a minor in strength and conditioning. So maybe something along the fields, personal training, maybe athletic training, you know, something along those lines. Just depends on, you know, where I'm at.
Right. And today's athlete knows so much about their own body. They have so many ways that they can prepare. There's so much rest and recovery and ways that you can better yourself. What's the most important tip or tool you would give somebody as advice for how to recover from a strenuous workout?
I definitely would say stretching. I didn't really stretch that much after workouts, after games, anything like that. But recently I need to, because these 4-year legs is a little rough. But yeah, stretching hurts a lot. Stretching helps a lot. Yeah, and then ice baths, those help a lot too, even though they're super cool.
Yeah, nobody really likes an ice bath unless you've had to do one and you understand the value in it, right?
Yeah. 100%.
It's those first 2 minutes you got to get past, then it's okay.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Jazz, it's so great to be with you. Thank you so much for taking time to spend with us on Nothing But Net. I love following your career. I hope more will pay attention to what you're doing, because you're a really special talent in our game, and we need you to keep playing well. The game just needs it. So thank you for all your extra effort, all your sweat equity, everything you've put in to become the kind of player and person that you've become at Delaware.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.